Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is your host with the most, King Gio in the house. What's up? Today is Sunday, and we're gonna do live with King Gio. So I want to do something different today. So let me put on this mic right here, and I wanted to put on the earphones. This is just in case you guys call. If you guys want to call, you can call in. I'll give you the number in a few, but excuse the message that I was setting up, and I put this green screen, but I need a little bit more light, which I had it, but I have to have the screen a little bit further up, which I didn't think this is going to be a good thing when I first moved in here, because I didn't think of this space right here as an office, but it's pretty comfortable. If you see the table that I got, this is an L shape coming from this way, going that way, and it's a cool table. It's just cool. I'm gonna take a picture of it. It's just cool. It's not something like, marvelous, but I think it's pretty cool. And before I start this show, I want to tell you that today's show, the King Gio Show, it's sponsored by Cheeky Boom Arts. Go to Instagram on Cheeky Boom Arts, and there you will see a variety of accessories that Cheeky Boom Arts does. These are one of them that they do. I just wanted to show you so you can go to Cheeky Boom Arts and you can order. These are keychains. Can't see them that well. Oh, here we go. So personalized keychains. Personalized keychains from Cheeky Boom Art. I can't see them that well, but I'm sorry. Not the best at this. And when I mean personalized, you can ask for whatever you want. And in Cheeky Boom Arts, they also have hats, they have shirts, they have tumblers, they have keychains in Cheeky Boom Arts. I'm going to put up Cheeky Boom Arts here now. The Instagram and the IG is Cheeky. Oops, sorry. Underscore. Sorry about that. Underscore. I think it's Cheeky. Just look at this. Boom Art on Instagram. That is the page. That's the sponsors who sponsor me, Cheeky Boom Arts. So go over there and see what they have personalized for Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter. Now that they're coming with graduations coming up next month, you can get your graduations gift there. So go and get them. All right. So today I wanted to talk to you about the hypocrisy that we have in our society. And I say that because here we have a man by the name of Joe Biden, which is the president of the United States of America. And when I get to see this, and I see this, I see that we live in a country that they think they're entitled. We live in a country that if things don't go their way, they will turn on you. Okay? They will turn on you. The people of this country think that you can resolve things in just a year or two. All right? That you can do things in a year or two. And that's not the way these things work. In order for things to get better, sometimes they have to get worse, right? So we're going through a recession, but we're not the only country in the world that's going through a recession. The whole world is going through a recession. Gas prices is high everywhere. So when I did a poll on my YouTube, I put down for the midterms, who are you going to vote for? Are you going to vote Republican or are you going to vote Democrat? And over 204 people, over 204 people voted. And they said 67% said they're going to vote Republican. And I'm assuming that they're voting Republican for the simple reason is because they're paying high gas. They're paying high gas. The price of gas is high. Inflation is high, but people don't seem to think that that's not just in this country. That's everywhere else. Hong Kong. The gas price is $11. In Ireland, from what I understand, from one of my YouTubers, he said that in his country of Ireland, gasoline, the gas is at $7, and that's the normal. That's the normal. That's the normal. So here we have inflation is high. Gas prices are high, and you want to oust a man just because those things are happening in this country when they're happening all over the world, not just here. So you want to oust him. You want to oust him because of that. So when things don't go your way, that's what you do, right? Is it fair? No, but that's the way. That's the way this country is programmed. That's the way this country is designed. That if things don't go your way, you turn your back on them. We're supposed to be Americans, regardless of what band what party you're affiliated with. The sad thing is that you guys don't see the accomplishments that Joe Biden has done in 2 years. I'm not a Joe Biden fan. By all means, I'm not a Joe Biden fan. But I give credit where credit is due. And if you did your research, you would know that he has done more in 2 years than any president so far has done in 42 years. And that's not just me, that's a fact. So why? So instead of badgering the man and saying, "Oh, he's no good," because you guys are paying higher gas prices, which he has no control of, mind you, he has no control of that. Inflation is high; he has no control of that either. It's just supply and demand, right? And you guys want to blame him for things that he cannot control, but give him credit. Like I said, give him credit where credit's due. When Trump was doing things, I gave Trump credit when he was doing good. I gave him credit for when he did the MS-13, that he got those people out. I gave him credit for what he did with immigration, that instead of having all those people, all those immigrants, all those people coming from other countries coming to this country and and overwhelming us. He paid other countries. He became an agreement with other countries for those people. If you went from Mexico, if you were in Salvador and you landed in Nicaragua, and you stayed in Nicaragua, and Nicaragua will help you with housing or whatever the case may be, whatever the deal was. I'm not too sure because I didn't even look at what was drafted or what was put up. But you get the basic idea of that. So I was in agree with that because as much as I want people to come to this country, as much as I want people to succeed, it has to be done legally and it has to be done in an orderly fashion. You only have so many people. That can work. So we have. Let me see. So let's get to his thing. So right now, the unemployment rate is at 3.6. 3.6. So before Donald Trump got into presidency, the if I'm not mistaken, the unemployment was 4.2. 4.2 when Obama was president, and when he left and Donald Trump took over, it went down to 3.9. So that's not bad, right? Then came the pandemic, and then boom, it rose up to 14%, which is natural because everybody was scrambling. The country shut down. So that's natural. The unemployment is going to go up. So I don't put that blame on him. So whenever you see Democrats saying, "Oh, unemployment went up under Donald Trump," yeah, it went up under Donald Trump because a pandemic hit. But if we look at that spectrum too, I don't blame him for that, but he has to take responsibility the same way Donald Trump once said that George Bush has to take responsibility of 9/11 because it happened on his watch. So by him saying that, on the same token, Donald Trump has to take responsibility for the 14% of unemployment because it happened on his watch. Things could have been done a whole lot differently, but I'm not going to get into that because this is not about that. I'm not gonna get into that. So unemployment rate is at 3.6%. He created more jobs in his first year as president as any president of the United States in 42 years. Any president. Our economy, you don't see it, but our economy is booming. Look, I got right here. Look, this is what he has done. Okay. This was from January of this year. Okay. He created more than 6 million jobs. The unemployment rate dropped from 6.2 when Biden took office to 3.9. This was in January. When I read this in January, 3.9. But as of last week, that 3.9 went down to 3.6 because there was 400 and some thousand jobs created. Unemployment claims went down. The economic legislation passed most significant by economic impact of any first-year president. Child poverty went down to the lowest. Look at this. Experts estimate the lowest child poverty rate ever in 2021. And that poverty level went down because he did the rescue plan, which in December, that's when people were getting their $300 and their $250 for every child from the month of July to December. And then Congress said no. Congress said, no, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to give these people. So all those people that came out of poverty, now they're back in poverty. Okay? Remember, the Senate, Congress, the Republicans said no to that plan. While people could still have those credits and they could still live over the poverty. Okay. Expanded access to health care. Nearly 5 million Americans have newly gained health care insurance. Reduced hunger. It has dropped by 32%. Judges confirmed. It says more judges confirmed to lower federal courts than any president since President Kennedy. Judge that reflects our nation. More black women appointed to the U.S. Court of Appeals than any president ever over 8 years. Maybe that may not mean a lot to you, but it means a lot because he's diversifying the court system. He's trying to make it more of he's picking up more of this is a way America is supposed to be, a diversified America. The cabinet, the first majority non-white cabinet in history, with most women in the cabinet, including first woman Treasury Secretary, first LGBTQ plus and a Native American cabinet officials, and first woman director of national intelligence, which is great because what does that tell you? That tells you not only are we a diversified country, we're an equal opportunity country also, and it's letting young women know that you can accomplish your goals. That's what it's telling you. You can accomplish your goals, which is an awesome thing to do. Now remember, when Donald Trump came in office, his cabinet was all rich. DeVos, not DeVos, DeVos, everybody in his cabinet was a millionaire. And he put DeJoyce. DeJoyce's husband is the owner of Tupperware, and he picked her for the Department of Education. People, he put Dr. Carson as head of HUD, but he has no experience in HUD whatsoever. But just to have someone of color in his entourage, he puts him in charge of HUD instead of putting him as a surgeon general or giving him a spot as a or give him a spot somewhere that his expertise can be used. But he didn't do that. So nothing happened. Nothing happened with HUD. HUD stood like HUD. And that's how. And HUD is always going to be HUD unless there is major changes. Okay, so we're getting job growth, right? We're climate investment. The economy, the GDP is booming, and we don't see it because of the inflation, of course. but we don't see that because of the inflation. And yet people still are not satisfied with what he is doing, what he is trying to accomplish. Everything's not going to be built in a day, guys. He got NATO together, okay? He got NATO together while Donald Trump wanted to take away NATO, while he wanted to make NATO weaker. He made NATO stronger. So what does that mean? That if there's something happens in the East, or think about it. You need in a world of in this day and age, you need allies. Just the same way you got your homeboys, that will get your back. You got their back. This is the same way. And Donald Trump wanted to decapitate us. Say, no, we don't need NATO. Do we need to be in every country? No. Do we need to protect everybody? Do we need to police everybody? No. But he brought NATO together. He's bringing the country together slowly, but people don't want to. People are still fixated with the elections is stolen. People are still fixated that he's a fake president. People are fixated with many, many, many things that are just. The only thing that I don't like about him is speeches when he's not he slurs because he has to speak. He stutters, but when he gets things wrong, and he has to recognize that he is doing something that someone should tell him. I think someone does tell him, but and you got to recognize what he does, what he has accomplished. 3.6% unemployment, that is great. And it's going to go even lower than that because people are going to continue to go to work. Look, guys, I'm not going to emphasize on the vaccine. I'm not going to say anything about that. But had we worn masks from the beginning, if we would have worn masks, we wouldn't have all these variants. We wouldn't have all this going around and the country shutting down because you wear a mask, it can't go out, it can't leave your thing, and we wouldn't be in this position. But because we as human beings are hard-headed, and some people are like, you're violating my rights, you're doing this, you're doing that. So then that's why we having so many variants, not just in this country, but all over the world. That's plain and simple. That's plain and simple. But it is what it is, and we're here today. So the more people that will go back to work, because people are going to go back to work. This is not going to stay just like this. It's not going to. But the things are going to look up. Does Biden need a lot of things to do? Yes, he does. He has a lot of work to do. But he has, and I believe he has a great group of people who are working behind him, who are working with him. And what happened in Ukraine, what happened in Ukraine, what happened in Afghanistan is a sad situation where all those soldiers, those 13 soldiers passed away. But that's war, unfortunately. And I don't mean to sound cruel, but that's what it is. And we need to know about it. We need to acknowledge. Hold on a minute, guys. We need to acknowledge that was a tragedy. We had to get out because Donald Trump himself gave orders and said that we needed to leave by May. So we had no other choice. It was planned. It was planned poorly. I do say that. It was planned poorly. It was executed poorly. But at the end of the day, we got people out of Ukraine. We got people out of. It was executed poorly. But at the end of the day, we got people out. And that's the main part. That we got the people out. So we're no longer in Afghanistan. And who knew? No one thought that the Afghanistan president and his whole entire army was going to quit and run away. We didn't know that. They're unlike Ukraine. The people of Ukraine are fighting, and I got to give them credit for that. When you stand there, you fight for what you believe in, and even if you pass away, you die hero, because you're fighting for something that you believe in, which is awesome. So we got to give them credit. So now unemployment is at 3.2. The GDP is high. Climate change is happening. In New Jersey the other day, they laid pipes down because all the pipes were full of lead. So they are reconstructing all these. They're redoing all these pipes that they're making them lead free. They're making them lead free. They're making them lead free, and that's very important that we do that, because we're in a country that we should be having lead. We should be having lead. So I give him credit for that. Everybody's complaining about the Keystone Pipeline, that he stopped the Keystone Pipeline. Listen, the Keystone. Oh, whose Instagram is this? 12 Veils. That is my wife's Instagram. She is doing personalized keychains, as you can see. Personalized keychains, tumblers, shirts, t-shirts, whatever she has on her page, she is doing. So that's her Instagram. So go check it out. So what was I? So yeah, so there's still things need to be done. So but check this out. So if 67% of the people are going to vote Republican, what is that going to do? It's not going to do anything, because now the promises that he made, the promises that Joe Biden made, that he said that he was going to cancel, student loans for people who have it $10,000 or under. That's not going to happen, because the Republicans are not going to allow it. They're not going to allow climate change. They're not going to do that. Right now, people don't know that Joe Biden has suspended $10 billion in student loans. $10 billion. But people don't know that, because people don't want to do the research. People don't want to do the research. Like I said, I give credit when credit is due. There's a lot of things that I don't like about Biden. There's a lot. But I have to give the man credit, because the man is trying. The coronavirus is down. 67% of the nation is fully vaccinated. And 72% has, hey, breaking news, what's up? And 72% had one boost. So we're doing good. Can we be better? Yes. But the one thing that I don't like about this country is the people, is that we don't stand behind them. If things go bad, we should stand behind our president. If things go good, we should stand behind our president, no matter what. We got to remember, he's just the president of the United States. You got to deal with Congress. Congress is the one that makes legislation. Congress is the one that approves it. Just the other day, think about this. Just the other day, Maryland, the state of Maryland, has a law that only doctors can perform abortions. They wanted to have nurse practitioners, midwives, and stuff like that. We're trained to do abortion, and the governor vetoed it, and the House took over. So so the power is only so big. So even if Joe Biden vetoes a plan, the House Congress can say, you know what, it don't matter. We're going to overturn it anyway. So they can do that. So would I give a midwife a responsibility to do an abortion? No. Would I give a nurse practitioner? No. That's nothing to do with it, President Gio. COVID-19 didn't go away until 89% of us got it. 89% of us got it. How do you figure 89% of us got it? There's 330 million people here in the United States. 389. So you're going to tell me that 300 million people got COVID? Hey, Gatairi Morales, for everybody who wants to know, Gatairi Morales is my wife. That's my baby mama. Yeah, I'm Gatairis. So yeah, so that those numbers, I don't know where you got 89%. So, but the president, what I'm trying to say, breaking news, is that through his speaking, through his advocacy, people wore more masks, people got vaccinated, and people did, because you're gonna get a vaccine is a vaccine. The vaccine is not a cure, so you're gonna get COVID regardless. But it just won't hit you as hard as it won't hit you just as hard as it would if you didn't have COVID. I mean, if you didn't have the vaccine. So that's natural. No Rayus. I don't know where he got that number, 89%, but it's not. There's 300 as of the last census. Let me tell you something. I will show you. Oh man, really? So I'm checking right here. So I'm checking it right now. As of today, there have been 80.3 million COVID cases. 80.3 million COVID cases. And there's over 330 million people here in the United States. This is 80.3 million people positive of COVID here in the United States. So how could that be 89%? That's not even close to 89%. I don't know where you got that. And there has been 984,000 deaths, unfortunately. So what I'm trying to say is that he has advocated, he has put out the word out there. They say, let's do this. Let's mask up. Let's try to get a grip on this. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But we can alleviate the pain. We can alleviate the death. We can alleviate certain things that we ourselves can take care of. Because you know the old saying that your mama said, always clean your hands, always do this, always do that. That's all it is. There's not billion, breaking news. There's not a billion people in the United States. There's over 330 million. 330 million. We don't even come close to billion. The only countries that have billions is China and India. India has over 1 billion people. China has over 1 billion people. The United States only has 330 some odd million. I haven't even checked it. But if you want me to check it, I will. Well, a lot of people were hospitalized, but death is 984,000, which is coming close to 1,000 deaths. It's coming close to 1 million. Look, let's be honest with you. This thing is like HIV. All right. You know you get HIV through semen, through blood transfusion. So if you don't want to get HIV through sex, so you protect yourself, you use a condom, or you have no sex at all, right? So the same thing with the virus. The same thing. I wear a mask, right? So I'm breathing, I'm wearing a mask, nothing comes out. You can talk, nothing comes in. And if it comes in, it's just a little particle of it. So I don't need a vaccine because it's not affecting me at all. So if we all wore this for a month or so, we would have been okay. We would have been okay. But you have a lot of groups out there that said, "Oh, they're violating your rights. They're doing this. You're doing that. They're violating your First Amendment. They're telling you what to do." Which in reality, it's not, because you wear underwear. Does your underwear do anything for you? But no. But every day you wear underwear, right? Same thing. It is what it is. If you want to be a conspiracy theorist and want to say that the government knew about COVID-19, yes, it did, because COVID-19 is not nothing new. We had SARS-1 back in 2009, All right. And we had SARS and we had SARS-1, 2009. We had the vaccine for COVID at that time. But what happened was that when we were going to use it, SARS-1 went away. So this vaccine that came out, and it came out so quick, is because we already had it in a batch, and you just had to tweak it. You just have to tweak it. But you have to know one thing, though. Breaking news. Remember that conversation that Mr. Donald Trump said that he knew about the virus in December, but he didn't want to alarm the people, and that he knew that it was 6 times more contagious than anything else, but he didn't want to alarm the people. And he did say that by April we'll get rid of it. And he did say this, he did say that. Do you remember that? Because I do. You know, and that what happened was that misled people. Don't forget the 2 thumbs up, guys. Yes. So that misled people. You know, had he said, listen, we're getting a virus, I'm going to suggest that you wear a mask for now, keep yourself indoors, wash your hands, wash your hands. And he would have said those little things because he had a big following. If he would have said those little big things, we would have gotten deaths, we would have gotten cases, but we wouldn't have gotten as much because people keep saying, oh, it's less than 1% or 1% of the population. You know, it's not the flu. You know, people don't understand that a virus works different in everybody's body. Just because it didn't happen, you got it, and nothing happened to you, doesn't mean that if it gets to me, nothing's going to happen to me. And a friend of mine last year, not last year, a few months ago, passed away. She left 4 kids behind. And she just moved from Puerto Rico last year, bought a house. Well, she moved to Puerto Rico 2 years ago because I moved here in 2016. She moved here in 2018. When she moved here in 2018, she busted her ass. Her kid went to college. She was going to college. And she got COVID. And she passed away just in August. No, August. August. I think it was December. Those kids have no mother. No mother. So was that to say if I get the virus, am I going to get the same fate? No. It works different on everybody. So to compare this with the flu, it's ridiculous to say, oh, it only affects 1%, or even if it affects 2%, even if it affects 1%, are you willing to take that chance, like a Russian roulette, to be that 1%? I know I wouldn't. COVID, if you think COVID is political, yes. Ebola was the same way. It's kind of funny now because if you look at Ebola, they were already doing a vaccine. See, this is where the conspiracy thing is. Ebola was already doing a vaccine. So what happened was that this is my thinking. When Ebola came out, no one had no idea how to cure it. So all of a sudden, an American doctor got contagious, right? They became an outbreak, got contagious, and then they flew him from Africa to the CDC in Atlanta, put him in a basement. In 2 days, he was cured. In 2 days. So that means they already had a cure for Ebola, but they need what you would call it? They need a specimen. They need people they can work with, so they make out an outbreak. And unfortunately, most of the time, they always blame it on Africa. Most of the time. Okay. So maybe the same thing with this. You know, when you do it, who's making the money here? Pharmaceuticals, right? So think about it this way. So instead of going to the FDA, that you have to do a process, you have the medication most of these times got to go 5 years before it gets approved. 5 years. You don't want to wait They don't want to wait 5 years and lose all that money. So they do outbreak, right? They pay China to do something. China don't care. It comes here, boom, Pfizer gets money. Boom, Johnson & Johnson gets money. Boom. And I don't think too much Johnson & Johnson is into it, but I think more of a Pfizer thing. And that's what it is. They're the one that's making the money. Look, I saw a guy the other day, I shit you not, in Germany. he got vaccinated 90 times before he got arrested. He was giving out vaccination cards 90 times. So do you think that he's going to get affected by that years to come? I don't know. Thank you, 12 Ls. So this guy says, I know a content creator that is in the hospital right now. There's a lot of people in the hospital. I mean, look, my sister got it. My brother-in-law got it. My cousin got it in Florida. Her whole family got it in Florida. She was pregnant. My cousins just got it a few months, like a month ago. They're all doing good. It depends on your immune system. It depends on a lot of things. My cousin is asthmatic, and my cousin is asthmatic, and he has gout. No, he has Crohn's disease, and he was okay. And he has chronic asthma, and he's okay. So it's depends on the body, how your body reacts to it, But I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, I'm going to walk out there because only 1% of the people who are dying." I'm not going to take that chance. Okay, so going back, we gotta give credit. We gotta give credit to Joe Biden, right? So now we have a black an African American judge to the Supreme Court. Will it change much? No, because it's still the same thing. She's just replacing another. She's replacing another leftist. But what it does is it gives it a little bit of diversity. The Supreme Court has always been Republican, people. Always. There's always been more Republicans than there have been Democrats. Look it up. I'm not making it up. Just look it up. And they have done some litigating that you would say to yourself, "Wow, really?" And when Donald Trump became president, he wanted to make it more far right than anything else. And to this day, that's backfiring on him because Amy Barrett is not doing most of the things that he says that he wanted to do. Kavanaugh, which is a horrible judge anyway, both Kavanaugh and Barrett are both bad judges. Not because of Trump nominating them, it's because they don't have the experience. Amy Barrett never sat on the seat of a judge. She never did a judgeship. And he chose her because he wanted Roe versus Wade to be terminated. Roe versus Wade to be terminated, guys. Okay? And that was funny. And even if Roe versus Wade is terminated, it's up to the state to decide on abortion. So that's right there. So he wanted things to go his way because he figured if I get people on my side, whatever corruption that I do, they're going to back me up. And you see this going, is he going to get arrested? No. Is something going to happen to him? No. None of that is going to happen. But he was just a bad president. I'm sorry. And like I said, I give credit where credit due. I give him a lot of credit when he's done, like with the MS-13 gang, the immigration. He did something good with that. But he never did a health plan. No, we never got a health plan. We did a lot of things that we didn't get. He did a tax cut that was just for the corporations alone. Did people enjoy the tax cut? Yes, individuals did until 2020, and then in 2021, this year, actually January, the taxes are going back up for individuals, not for corporations, but for individuals. Is Ketanji Brown a token black woman in the Supreme Court? What do you mean by that? Be more elaborate. Because they have a black Supreme Court. Clarence Thomas is black. What I'm trying to say is that we need to diversify our court system. We have a horrible judicial system. We do, and that's you gotta be honest with that. We have the most racist judges, the most racist jurors, the most racist prosecutors, and the most racist cops. And that's the truth. That is the truth. Look at statistics. The statistics tell you the same thing. It's not something that I'm making it up. I wish I could say this is great. every white people get, black people and brown people get this, they get treated the same as white. I can't say that because it's not true. And unless you know, you read it, you read a lot in the news and stuff like that. But if you don't go through it, you wouldn't know. And a lot of people don't. And a lot of people don't go through it. And a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people don't know that cops kill more white people than blacks. But the white people don't say anything because it's not happening to them. You know, it's not like, it's not what I'm saying, that it's not happening to them. It's not to them. It's not happening to your next door neighbor. It's not happening to the rich community. It's happening to poor white people. And to them, you poor white, you're trash. We don't care about you. But if it happened to the rich white community, I guarantee you they'll speak up. You know, I guarantee you, if every African American person in this country, and brown, Hispanic, or whatever it can be, took out a license and bought a gun, you would have so many discrimination out there, because people would say, you know what? Now they are armed. Now they are armed. So we go back to Joe Biden, giving Joe Biden credit. So we have to give him credit because now he's trying to diversify the court system. He's trying to do what he can, because he knows that in the midterms he could lose. And if he loses the midterms, if we don't get back, if the Democrats don't get back the House, it's going to be 2 years. Everything's going to stay stagnant, because the Republicans will not pass one thing at all. One thing at all. And that's not good, because in order for any country to function, both sides have to come together. You have to let go of your religious belief. You have to let go of your political belief, and you have to do what's best for your state and for the people. That's plain and simple. You cannot go and say, I don't believe in abortion, so therefore I'm going to make a law that abortion is illegal. That's your belief. But you have to believe that a person has the right to choose. That's what you got. That's the way I am. I'm pro-life, and I'm pro-life. But I also believe that I'm pro-life and pro-choice. I believe that a woman has a right to decide what she can do with her body. It's her body. It's not your body. But yet you see all these people saying, oh no, pro-life, pro-life, pro-life. But you ask them, have you ever adopted a child? No. Have you ever fostered a child? No. But yet you want a young woman who has no job, who has no nothing, you want her to have that child because you say so. And then when that young woman, which has no education whatsoever, decides to go on food stamps, decides to go on Section 8, you say no, you got to work because you had a child. No one told you to do this, and no one told you to do that. It's ridiculous. Let me see what Ryu says. Is she there just because there's not enough black people in diversity? I'm pretty sure that she's smart. Well, the court is composed of 9 people. All right. 1 is Hispanic, 1 is black, and that's it. And then now with Brown, you have 3 minorities. 2 are them Democrats, and 1 is a Republican, which is Clarence Thomas. So he's trying to diversify the court system. A lot of people don't see it that way, but he's trying to diversify. And the Republicans, 3 Republicans voted for her, right? 3 Republicans voted for her. But all those Republicans that voted no, they say, oh, she's smart, she's this and that. But they voted no. Why? Not because she's black, because she's a Democrat, because Biden chose her. You can't, if you give me somebody and they qualified, I'm not gonna say, you know what, I'm not gonna hire that person because I don't like Ryu's. But this person is qualified, and if I know this person is going to give me the job done, I don't care what I have against Ryu's. I'm hiring the person. But when you become in politics, that's not the way it is in politics. In politics, money talks. And like a gentleman said the other day to a Republican, that's what that's what it is. To Republicans, it's just money. It's just money. Republican is a party for the rich. What does why would you say token black when Biden said when he was running for president that he was going to choose an African American woman as a judge if such the opportunity arose? Ronald Reagan, when he was president, he said that he was going to choose a woman Supreme Court judge. He was going to nominate a woman Supreme Court judge, and he did. So there's no difference. He decided to take a black woman because we already have a Hispanic, but we never had in the 232 years of the court. There's never been a black Supreme Court judge. Never. And that's a fact. So going back, so like I said again, we have a health system now that's being taken care of. The Republicans want to cut down the health system. There's a lot of things. That has been done, but has been overlooked, not because of Ukraine, and there's been things that have been looked because the Republican Party has been screaming a lot. But there are people in the Republican Party that say, you know what, this man is doing something. He's trying his best to do what he can. Like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day. It took Barack Obama 8 years to get us out of a recession. 8 years. 8 years. You know, is he going to do more? He still hasn't done. He still hasn't done the student loan. He still hasn't given the $15,000 money, the down payment for houses for first-time home buyers. He still hasn't done that. But those things take time. But I did not like what he did. What I did not like that he did was that he immediately put into law the Asian hate crime, as if the Asians are the only one who get beat up in the streets. Black people get beat up in the streets every day more than Asians. Okay, and the only reason the Asian people got beat up or started getting beat up, it was because Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump said this is a Chinese thing. The virus is a Chinese thing. It came from China. So every dumb person that did these beatings, like, oh, you brought this virus to us, so they want to kick your ass. I mean, that's the way it is. That's the way people. That's the way stupid people think. So he made a Asian anti-violent act, so it made it a federal crime, right? But yet he has not yet the law as far as cops are concerned that has not been reformed. We still haven't gotten a reform act whereas cops should no longer be shielded. Okay, they shouldn't be given immunity because that's what they're doing now. Cops should be held up for their actions. That's not happening now. We still see cops shooting other people. We still see cops violating the law every day. There's no accountability for these officers, and that's where he should have started. He should have started doing things for the black community because it was the black community that got Joe Biden in the presidency, and it's the truth. And if you don't give the black community their fair share, they're not going to vote you in again. I wouldn't vote you in. Of course, he's going to prison. The one thing I like about Donald Trump, what he did, he made animal abuse a federal crime. Before, that was just a felony if they caught you. But now, it's a federal crime for you to abuse an animal. And that's great news. And that is a great law. Another law that he did, which was here anyway, but he just enforced it. And if you're an immigrant, if you're an illegal immigrant and you get a felony charge, you gotta first do your time, and then you get sent back to your country. And a lot of places they don't do that. A lot of places they just send you back to your country and you don't do no time at all. But in some states you do. So he enforced that. He made it more so that you do your time, that you don't think, you know what, I'm gonna go to the United States, I'm gonna do the crime, and they're just gonna send my ass back. They're not doing that anymore. He enforced that. So I give him credit for that. But there are other things that I just don't. The same thing. I don't give credit. Like I said, I don't give credit to Biden for doing the Asian law before he did a black African law or Hispanic law or law for minorities. Period. He could have made it. He could have made it a minority law. The anti-hate minority law. Omi will be in solitary confinement. Omi's going to go to a federal prison. He's going to be a minimum. I don't do Omi because there's nothing to talk about Omi. Omi was his worst nightmare. Had he not gone in front of YouTube and talk about his millions of dollars that he had or whatever the case may be, Omi would still be salivating on the fruit of his illegal labors. That's just plain as. But you got cocky, you went in front of the TV, you decided to show your car, you decided to show this, you decided to show that. You caught the eye of someone snitched you out, and that's what you get. I don't knock the hustle, but hey, you gotta learn how to do shit. That's plain and simple. Don't come and say in the news that you were going through a gray area that your lawyer said that was a gray area. And if your lawyer told you that you should fire that lawyer, you should even take advice from him, because there is no gray area when it comes to copyright infringement. That's simple. And any illegal activity that you do and you are generating, even if it's illegal, and you are generating an income, you have to pay taxes on that. You have to pay taxes. That's plain and simple. So if he bought those houses that he bought and the cars that he had, and he bought all those with the money from what he made from copyright infringement, from copyrights, he loses all that. He will not see not one car, not one house, not one nothing, because he got those. He obtained those illegally. Anything that you obtain illegally will be taken away from you. That is plain and simple. You know, he should have never been on YouTube. He could have been on YouTube. He could have been a content creator. He could have been a motivator, and not show his house and not show his car, or maybe show what house and say, show what house. Like, this is how I built it. This is how I came up, blah blah. But when you oversell yourself and you go in front of the TV and do this and do that, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to. It's like a drug dealer, right? Pablo Escobar got all the money. He had all the money in the world, but that man couldn't walk from here to the corner. He couldn't walk from here to the corner because why? Because people wanted what he wanted. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So he should have thought about that. Damn, I made so much money, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. If you want to help people out, but you don't go on TV. You don't like Ryu says, you don't flash what you got. You don't do it. If I was I'm a hustler. I don't even make what he did. I would never go out there and flash my money and do this and do that. No, because you have people who's going to envy you, and they're going to want what you want. You feel me? And that's where the shit starts. It's like Tekashi 69. Tekashi 69, you know, here he goes. And he says he's not a snitch. Yeah, you are a snitch. All right. Oh, because people say, oh yeah, but he had to snitch. You know, they did his baby mama. They were gonna they was gonna kidnap his mom. They stole money from him. Yo, you joined a gang. You didn't join the Boy Scout. You knew this shit was gonna happen. You knew that somebody in that gang in one moment in time was going to backstab you because that's the way it is. All right. So if one of your gang boys had sex with your girl, because that's what happened with his girl, had sex with your girl, then that's on you and on her. Now I can now you going as far as kidnapping my mom, like that's going a little bit too far. Then I just step up to you, smack the shit out of you, plain and simple. But I'm not gonna go out there when the time comes. I get caught with you, and I'm gonna snitch you out because you took my money from my concert, you had sex with my girl, and you was gonna kidnap my mom. I will not accept you kidnapping my mom. That I will not do. But if you had sex with my girl, I'm gonna snitch because of you. That's on you, bro. I don't give a fuck about that. You took money from my concert. That's on me because I was stupid enough to let you handle my money. You know, and I was stupid enough to say, you know what, you got paid $200,000, I only got paid $50,000. The math doesn't equate. You're fired. And if he thought his life was in danger, he could have moved to another state. That gang wasn't that big. That's not the mob. He could have gone to California. He could have gone here. He could have gone anywhere. But he chose not to. So he chose to snitch. It is what it is, bro. It is what it is. So when you say black token, are you saying that he put her there? He put her there because he wanted black votes? Just 2.0, Gio, they was going to hurt him. So what? They was going to hurt him in prison. So what? So you mean to tell me he was a badass to go into jail. I mean, he was a badass to join a gang, but he was a pussy because he thought he was going to get beat up in jail? Does that make any sense? When you go to jail, you gotta be humble. And Tekashi 69, he could have gotten solitary confinement. He could have done a lot of things. And he was gonna go to jail for prison for a while. Yo, that's what he got. He joined the gang. He did the shit that he did. It is what it is. It's like Sammy the Bull Gravano. He was the hitman for John Gotti, right? He was the one that did the hit. He killed over 22 people. But he never saw a day in jail because why? Because he snitched on John Gotti, right? Cool. I'm not cool with that, but that's what happened. Then they give him a witness protection program. He goes all the way to Arizona, and while he's in Arizona, he starts selling meth while he's under the witness protection program. Not a smart thing to do. All right, but if they gave him 22 years, or they give him 20 years. Simon the Bull Gravano was going to take it anyway because that's who he is. You do the crime, you do the time. You can't be a bitch about it. Oh, I killed someone, but I don't want to go to prison. I'm too afraid to go to prison because they might hurt me. You should have thought about that before you even did that shit. Yo, what I'm saying is this. You don't let them look. What just 2.0. What I'm trying to tell you is this. Grasp this idea, bro. Tekashi decided to join a gang. He knew what a gang is all about. Gang is not a Boy Scout. Gangs don't go door to door and sell you cookies. They don't sell you subscriptions. They don't say, hey, do you want Hulu? They don't do that. Gangs rape, gangs create havoc, and gangs kill. He knows that. He knows that. Either two ways you come out of a gang, either dead or you go to jail. So he knows that from the get-go. So whether he was going to kill him or he killed him, that's neither here or there because that's part of the package. If they was gonna rob him in the free world, yo, you wait, yo, just 2.0, you're way overthinking this, bro. You don't do the time. No, you do the time because you did the crime. That's why. You do the time because you did the crime. All right? That's plain and simple. So he did look, check this out. This is fun. This is the funny. If they was robbing him in the free world, what's going to happen in jail? So he gets robbed in jail. Either he mans up, all right? Either you become a man in jail and you say, now F this, no one's doing this, this is my sneakers, yo, blah, 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 this, and that's it. Because yo, if you cannot do the time, don't do the crime. Don't try to be a thug when you're not. Plain and simple. Don't be a thug when you're not. Just keep doing what you're doing. The kid has talent. I give him that. He has a lot of talent. He really does. But if you're going to join a gang, you know shit's going to get real. Someone's going to blow you up because someone's not going to like what someone wants, what you have. All right? So if you're cool with a right-hand man, there's going to be some shady mofo that's going to say, yo, he's too close to the right. I want what he has, man. How am I going to get that? So I'm going to implicate him with the right-hand man. I'm going to say he's doing this. I'm going to say he's doing that. I want to implicate him somehow so he can just get out and I can take his spot. That's the way it goes. But you just don't go join a gang, do the shit that you do. You go murder, rob people, and then when you get caught, yo, I'm going to snitch because they're going to give me 30 years. Because I'm going to snitch because my man over here is going to do my wife or he did my girl. Like he was talking, I think he told 50 cents. I think he told 50 cents that he got out of there because he told the judge that he had asthma and blah, 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 blah. And 50 cents gave him a gold inhaler for his asthma, for being a snitch. You know? Yo, that's the word. If you're from the streets, you know you don't snitch. You know that. That's plain and simple. Certain things you got, you gotta do what you gotta do, because yo, if I'm with you, all right, and I'm just standing by and you rob something and I didn't know about it, I'm gonna snitch. Yeah, because you're putting me somewhere where I'm not supposed to be in. But if I go with you and I'm committing the crime with you, all right, and we get caught, and they say, yo, G, we're going to give you 5 years if you snitch on your boy. We're going to give him life. I can't do that because we went in together. We come out of this together. That's plain and simple. That's the way. I'm from the South Bronx, and that's the way we do shit. You just don't go around because I did this, I did that. Because back in the day, now tell me something. Back in the days, back in the 80s and in the 90s, if you rob the bank and you're just a lookout and you're outside looking out, and I go in the bank and I rob it and I kill someone, then I get caught with murder and you're just a lookout, so you get less time. But 1996, 1997, all that changed and that became a felony murder. So that means that even if you're on the phone, even if you're on the phone and you're with that person and you could be across the street and I kill someone in that bank or I kill someone in the act of a crime, even if you're across the street, you don't have to be there. And you talk with me on the phone, yo, G, there's no 50, and a crime is and someone gets murdered during that act of crime, you're going to get hit with murder too. Even though you didn't pull the trigger, you didn't stab the person, you didn't do nothing. You just used the phone. You're going to get hit with the same crime. That's called felony murder. All right? So you get hit the same way. So if he was doing all that kind of stuff, then yo, he should be crying, oh, you did that. That's that bullshit. I'm from 174th and Vice Avenue. I was born in the Bronx. I was raised in the Bronx. I've been all over the Bronx. But my stomping grounds is 174th and Vice. That's where Peter Guns is from. That music Uptown Baby. And there, I can tell you some shit. Most of these people, most of these kids nowadays, that's why, back in the days before with our fists, nice old guns. But the South Bronx was bad. The South Bronx was horrible. And you had to be tough. If not, the street would eat you alive. But the thing with me was that I didn't mess with no one. I was solo. I hung by myself. I had my friends. When we played baseball, Peter Guns played baseball with us. When we played basketball, Peter Guns played with us. When we played football, Peter Guns. So we were all a knit community. But within that knit community, there was crime in that block. Because down the street, you had Simpson Avenue. You had Hunts Point. And then you had the Zulu Nation that was in James Monroe High School. And then you had James Monroe High School had a beef with Stevenson High School. Stevenson High School had beef with Taft. Taft had a beef with Roosevelt. Everybody had a beef with Roosevelt High School. And you went to Fordham Road. Fordham Road, I got jumped on Fordham Road. I got jumped at Fordham Road, and I was laughing when I got jumped in Fordham Road, and I laughed at them. And they said, "Why you laughing?" I'm like, "Yo, Kupuro, because my dead grandmother hits harder than you." I got jumped there, and then I got jumped in Little Italy, in the Bronx by the Bronx Zoo, by Beaumont Avenue, by 4 Italian guys. And I found that funny. I found that funny that you're gonna jump me. So I was like, Dirty Bloods, they did him wrong in the streets. What was going to happen? 69 is not stupid. Those people don't care about no. Yo, just 2-0. What world do you live in, bro? Are you a kid? What gang cares about you? Seriously. You making me think this is a fucking society, bro. No gang cares about you. All the gang care is about that you do them a service, that you get them as much money and you rob as many people and you do what they say. That's what gang is all about. Dirty Bloods didn't do him wrong. That's the gang's MO, bro. That's the gang's MO. To do anybody wrong, bro. You need some classes, bro. Now you're gonna be heated now. You say look. You say 69 not stupid. Those people don't care about no one. What gang does? Tell me one gang that you're gonna walk up and open up and say, "Hey, come in, Gio. Here we have beer. Here we have Bible study. Here you can get your GED. We're going to help you out. We're going to help your family out. But we're a gang. How we make our money, we rob people. But we just don't rob people and snatch their purses. We say, please. Please, can you give us your purse? Please, can you get out your car? Please, can you do this? Because we are a happy gang. We won't do you wrong. Is that the way you see gangs just 2.0? I think it's 2.0. I think that's how old he is. I mean, I'm not taking away from, I'm not trying to belittle you, just 2.0. It's just the things that you are saying. It appears to me that you're not from the street. It appears to me that you don't watch movies. It appears to me that you don't watch documentary. It appears to me that there is no gang where you live at, so you don't know how gangs operate. A gang is like a mafia. The minute you step up, but a mafia has rules. They don't. The Italian mafia, they don't kill kids. Back then, they didn't kill kids and they don't kill women. Even thieves among thieves don't have. I mean, sometimes they have rules. You don't steal from me. I don't steal from you. You don't do me wrong. I don't do you wrong. But to say that people that Dirty Bloods, they care about you. Yes, I'm drinking coffee. It's preposterous. What are they supposed to care about you? Are gangs are supposed to care about you? Is that the purpose? You think that's the purpose of you joining a gang? That they're going to care about you? Because they don't. They never have and they never will. They will take as much from you as they can. And the minute that you're no longer usable for them, you dispose of. Plain and simple. That's what gang is all about. So he knew what he was getting himself into. Plain and simple. And he snitched because he wanted to snitch. Because he wanted to be a man before time. He wanted to be a man ahead of time, so he wanted to join a gang. Like I said, the kid has talent, because I never heard Tekashi 69 after what he did. Then I saw his video, I heard his voice. I'm like, yo, the kid got talent, you know? He got a gift. But it's like Aaron Hernandez. Aaron Hernandez had a gift to play football, but he fucked all that up because he wanted to be with a gang. And he killed somebody. Which one is the most dangerous, street gangs or the mafia? Well, the mafia right now is not the way it used to be back in the 70s, 80s, even in the 90s, because the mafia will go everywhere to look for you, no matter what. But street gangs are everywhere, and there's no code in the street gang. So I say street gangs are more dangerous than anything else, because you find them anywhere, and they fight for the dumbest things in the region. You know, they fight for a corner, they fight for a piece of wall because you wrote on my wall. You know, you tag me, so my name King Gio is here, and you put your name over my name, so now we got beef. You know, stupid shit like that. You're from the East Coast, I'm from the West Coast, I'm gonna kick your ass. Some shit like that. You know, so most definitely a street gang is more dangerous than the mafia. Because with the mafia, yes, they sold drugs, they did number games, but there was an ethics about it. Killing is not ethical. Okay, there's nothing ethical about killing. But they had a way of doing things. They had rules that you have to abide by. Rules. Street gangs, you don't have rules. You have one leader, you do what he says, and then blah 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 blah, and then they'll kill each other off. And that's just the way it is. You know, nowadays there's no honor in street gangs. There really isn't. You know, so like in Puerto Rico, they got gangs out there too. Puerto Rico is one place where prisoners get to vote. They have the right to vote while you're in prison. Go figure that. Go figure that. So back to my story. So now they say so on my poll, it said that 67% out of 209 people, my poll says that 67% is going to vote Republican. So by you voting Republican, you're not doing anything. Because if you want to change, you have to let this man and his cabinet finish what he started. And that takes time. Just because things are not going the way you want them to, does not mean it's not going to change. You got to give time. And if you think that things are going to change in 2 years, no. If you think that you're going to switch your vote from Democrat to Republican because you don't like what Joe Biden is doing, it's going to get worse. Because whatever this man decides to put up, or whatever the House decides to put up, or whatever the Senate decides to put up, the Republicans will knock it down. The Republicans will knock it down. The Republicans knocked down a bill for you to get paid. They said no. All right. I can tell you this much. I'm both Republicans and Democrats. Not from Ronald Reagan, from Bill Clinton all the way down to, from George Bush to Barack Obama to Donald Trump to Biden. Minimum wage is still $7.25 an hour, guys. Minimum wage is still $7.25 an hour. And we've had 3 Republican presidents and 2 Democrats. And none of them has changed the minimum wage. Economists say that if we was to change the wages to what they're supposed to be, with what inflation is now, minimum wage is supposed to be $22 an hour. $22 an hour. See, and people say Bernie Sanders is bad. No, Bernie Sanders is not bad. Bernie Sanders is a visionary. The problem is that people don't want to pay. Okay, I'm not sure. Rayush, I think you said you were from Ontario. But other countries like Germany, Italy, Switzerland, why do they have universal health care? Why do why do people live well? Right? They have universal health care. School is free. The streets are clean. Stuff like that. Why? Because they pay what is called a VAT tax. So you pay maybe 21% in taxes. Okay. But with that 21% taxes, you get something in return. You get universal health care, which is very, very important. Because if you go to Italy, you're from Italy and you go to Germany and you get sick in Germany, your healthcare your healthcare will cover you. If you go for the United States and you go to Mexico and you get hurt in Mexico, your insurance company is not going to take care of you. So would I mind paying extra for to have universal health care? No. Having my streets clean? No. Having no holes in my streets? No. Having little crime? Little crime? Come on, and that means having more police in the streets, having more security in the streets. So if I have to pay that extra $10, $20 more, or that 10% more, then I'll pay it. But here in the United States, you don't want to hear that because all they want money. So these people, they know, the United States know that who rules here in the United States? The pharmaceutical companies, right? Pharmaceutical companies send lobbyists to Congress so they can pass some laws so they can get money. Not you. So I'll give you an example right now as we speak. The company SmithKline is getting sued because they had an HIV medication that was worth $200, right? And it's called Truvada, and it had less effect than the Truvada that they had at first. The first Truvada that they took out at first, they sold it more expensively, and it gave people, as to this day, a lot of people lost a lot of bone density. They lost liver. They had liver failure. They had kidney failure, all because this company decided not to sell. It's the same pill because it's made by the same company, but to give you this pill will cost me less than if I gave you this pill. So they sold you the more expensive pill that had more of a side effect than to sell you the less expensive pill that had less or zero side effect, but they all have side effects. But this one had more side effects than this one. So they sold you the most expensive one. They made money out of you. And so what happens? So now, after 20-some years, now they're getting sued. They're doing a class action suit. So that's just to tell you how pharmaceutical companies are in this country. How your insurance company don't want to cover you because you're too sick. How people have to go to Mexico. How people have to go to Canada. How people have to go out of the country. I've seen people leave the United States just to go to Mexico to get dentist teeth done. I met a guy the other day. He's from North Carolina. He was in Peru, and he had, I think, 2 of his teeth extracted or something like that. $75 per tooth, and he went to a good. He showed the doctor's clinic. He showed the tools, everything. Because some people are like, oh, you go there, it's a third world country, but no. Okay, you go to Turkey for people who have hair loss, and I think the hair transplant here is like what, $30,000-$40,000. Over there is $5,000. All right, to get a gastric bypass, you go to other countries. It's 5 G's. You go to Mexico. It's 5 G's to get a gastric bypass in Mexico. You get a hotel. You get room board. You get everything's luxury. While here, a gastric bypass is $30,000-$40,000. So you see how pharmaceutical companies always in this country wins, and they don't. Pharmaceutical companies don't have a hold like they do here. They don't have that hold in Mexico. They don't have that hold in Canada. So they can't tell Canadian government what they're gonna, this is the price that you're going to sell it. I'm going to sell it for you. You're going to sell each pill for $500. No, because Canada will say, go fuck yourself. Germany will say, go fuck yourself. We'll make a generic one. You're not going to hang this over me. But in this country, Congress has money invested in these companies. You see? So when you have money invested in those companies, you want that company to succeed. I remember when Barack Obama said when he was running for president that he was going to eradicate lobbyists. He thought he was not going to let lobbyists into Congress. That never happened. You still got lobbyists lobbying in Congress. And lobbyists make good money. Very good money. But it is what it is. It is what it is, people. And I'm sorry to say this, but if you think that you're voting Republican, you're thinking because Joe Biden's not doing what you think he's not doing, then you're sadly mistaken. You got to give the man time. You got to give. It's not just him. It's Congress. He can say he's going to do something. He can put it on the table. But if Congress says no, it's not going to go through. So if Biden says he's going to make sure that each American has a house, and that the United States government is going to pay for it, everybody gets happy. But then when it goes to Congress is going to say no. Republicans are going to say no because it costs too much. And then on top of that, you have two people in the Democratic Party, Sinema and Manchin. They act like Republicans. They're Democrats and they act like Republicans, and they go against everything that Biden and these are supposed to be your people, and they go up against everything that Joe Biden has decided to do. Everything they had gone against it. She's from Arizona, and he's from West Virginia. And they're Democrats, and everything that Joe Biden has tried to do, they have gone against it. So how are you supposed to progress if in that progression you're being stopped? You're not being stopped because your idea is bad. You're being stopped because it's not our idea, because it's not a Republican idea. That's why it's being stopped. So if you vote Republican, whatever benefits you're supposed to get, you're not going to get. And then if a Republican president goes in, it's going to be even worse. So let's just say a Republican wins the presidency, and the Democrats win both House and Senate. You're not going to get anything done. Because why? We go again. The Democrats, because it's not a Democratic idea, they're not going to go with it. Oh, no, I don't think this is a good idea. It wasn't thought up by a Democrat, so we're not going to vote for it. But if it was a Democrat president, they'll vote for it. Same thing with Donald Trump. When Donald Trump was president, the Republicans voted for everything that he said, for everything. But everything that the Democrats wanted, they would vote it down. And you're not going to get nowhere when a country is divided. I don't care who the president is, but I'm with my president. I was with Donald Trump because he's the president of the United States. I'm with him. May not like the things that he did, but I still respect him because he was the president of the United States of America. He's the one that represented the United States of America. At the end of the day, I got to do me. I got to pay my bills. They're not going to do it for me. They're not going to work for me. Right? They're not going to do that. So when you see these, I don't know how I can see these fanatics going all crazy, going to Trump rallies and putting up signs, I love Donald Trump and blah, 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 or Joe Biden this or what. I see people say, go Brandon. It sounds so stupid. It sounds so stupid, so unintellectual. And you're making yourself look like a fool. You know, like you put so much emphasis. You put so much emphasis on this shit that if you put emphasis on this shit and you worked hard and you did something constructive, then we wouldn't be in this freaking predicament that we are now. You know, let's build houses for the homeless. Let's help the vets. Let's help our young kids. Let's help these people who are on drugs. There's a pandemic of fentanyl out there. Let's rescue them. Let's rescue those people in Skid Row. Let's make community college free so that people can learn a trade. College is not for everybody. Everybody can afford community college. You know, immigration, reform immigration Those people who are here illegally, you give them a fine, you give them a social security card number, let them pay into social security, and that boosts social security. So they say that in 12 years, social security is going to be insolvent. That means that you're going to be working for nothing because you're not going to get shit. Think about that. So there are ways that we can make this country better, but when it's not going to happen, because the more controversy something brings, the better it is. If it gets unsolved, it's better, because immigration is an easy thing to solve, but they don't solve it because it gives them something to do every 4 years. They haven't done anything with unemployment because it gives them something to do every 4 years. I remember when I was a kid, most of the stuff that I wore said "Made in America." Made in America. This shirt, made in Vietnam. The phone, made in China. This microphone, made in China. Let me see. This cup. See what it says. You see? Trying to look. It doesn't say. Has a patent number, but it doesn't say. Probably made in China. So, are you, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, are you proud that everything that you buy is made in China or Pakistan or Vietnam? Are you proud of that? When Donald Trump was president, he said that he was going to bring jobs back. That he was going to give these people tax incentives so they can bring these companies back to work in the United States. And that did not happen. He promised coal miners more jobs in coal, and they lost jobs. So where is it? Look at Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos right now, Amazon is standing out and want for them to be unionized. And now Jeff Bezos, Amazon is going to fight. It's going to fight so they cannot be unionized. What kind of shit is that? You have the richest man in the world worth billions, and he's crying over nickels and dimes. Nickels and dimes, people. He's crying over giving you benefits. He wants you to work for him. He wants you to bust your ass for him, but he does not want to give you benefits. He'll pay you $15 an hour. He'll pay you $20 an hour, but he does not want to give you health benefits. He don't want to give you life insurance. He don't want to give you 401k. But it's okay for him to make the millions out of your back, out of you sweating your back. That's okay. That's capitalism at its best. Is that what you want? That's what it is. Can you believe that? You want to stop the union. You want to stop people from getting what they deserve, which is a fair share, which is his health insurance, which is good pay. You're stopping them, boy, but you're making money, right? You're building ships to go to space for shit. Come on, people. It's time to wake up. Just because you're going to vote Republican doesn't mean that things are going to change. Or if you vote Democrat, things are not going to change. It all depends who is in Congress. I keep telling you this. Who is in Congress? Whoever you vote in Congress, you better vote for that person for the right reason. For the right reason. Because they're the ones who decide. The president, I keep saying the president is just a puppet. But the president can have ideas. She can have ideas. But when it comes down to it, it's the people in Congress, they decide we're going to sign this into law, and all the president has to do is sign it. But we decide if this goes through. If the House says no and the Senate says no, it goes nowhere. It really does. It goes nowhere. It's not like it goes. It's not like it goes to the Senate. The president can veto it, and then when he vetoes it, it goes back to the Senate, and the Senate can override it anyway. But it has to go first from the Senate to the president, and then they can override it. But if they say no from the get-go, it's no from the get-go. It doesn't even reach the president's desk. So you gotta give it time. and just do your research. See what Biden is doing. See what Biden has done in 2 years that no other president has done in 42. I was amazed when I saw this today. I'm like, oh wow, I knew about the unemployment. I knew about this. I knew about that. But and a lot of people blaming Biden for the Crime Act of 1998. Hey, back in 1998, I was 98, 96. All the mayors were for it. Even black mayors were for it. And for those who don't know, there was a lot of black young men and women and Hispanics that got arrested for small amount of weed, small amount of cocaine. They got years in prison. Some of them got life. To this day, Detroit has one of the worst drug laws in the world. You don't want to get caught with that. I remember until a few years ago in Puerto Rico, if you got caught with a bag of weed, or even in Puerto Rico, if you got caught just with a roach or a joint, you do an automatic 2 years. Automatic 2 years in prison just for a joint. Automatic. But now they changed that. Now they got court. Drug law. Drug court. All that kind of stuff. But just think about it. Is that what you want? So think about the ramifications of what you're going to do, because things are not going your way, because things are not happening the way that you want it to be. Think about it. Think about it this way, man. Go back, look at YouTube, look at C-SPAN, look at everything, and look at how many laws the Democrats have tried to pass for your benefit, and the Republicans had shut it down. For your benefit, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, it's for your benefit. And look how the Republicans shut it down, because the Republican Party is no longer for the Republican people. The Republican Party is for the Republican Party. They are a gang. All right, they're no longer the Republican people. They're no longer for the people. They're for themselves, and that is sad, because there was at one time that you respected the Republican Party. There was at one time that you said, "I am proud to be a Republican." But with these charlatans that they have right now, these ineptitude people that they have right now, these young bucks, these Rand Paul idiots like that, all right, or Crowley and stuff like that. Those are the people who are destroying the Republican Party with their propaganda, with the illusion of that this happened when it didn't happen, selling you ideas that the Democrats are going to come and take away your rights when that cannot happen. The Democrats are going to come and take your gun rights. That's not going to happen. None of that is going to happen. But they make you believe it's going to happen, because if you're not smart enough, these are civil laws. These are laws that have been on books for 250 years. So the beginning of Congress is the beginning when they signed the Declaration of Independence. None of that has changed. So what makes you think it's going to change now? Because the Republican Party is telling you, and you believe that. Stop believing these people. If you're a true Republican, you vote for the man or woman who's in your state, and you believe in what that person is saying. Don't vote because I'm a Republican. I'm going to vote. Don't do that, because you're destroying the party. Don't follow these idiots, the Crowleys, the Ron Paul, the Lindsey Graham. Don't follow them, because Lindsey Graham is just an idiot. That's what he is. Rand Paul is an ophthalmologist who became a senator. So if you're an eye doctor and you're a senator, why would you leave your eye practice? Why would you leave your doctor practice to become a senator? His father was a senator, but why? Because you're a shitty doctor. Why would you leave your law practice to become a senator? Because you're a shitty lawyer, and as a congressman, as a congresswoman, you make more money because you're getting money from lobbyists. You're getting money funded here. You're getting money funded there. You can get to write a book, and once you leave Congress, you get all these benefits. Okay, you get lifetime benefits. Then you can go back to law school. But you can go back to law. You can go back to practicing medicine. But I don't vote for parties anymore. I'm like a liberal, and if you can convince me that you're for the people, not for me, but for the people, then I'm going to vote for you. But I know when you're trying to sell me bullshit. You can't try to sell me a bridge for $2.50. You can't do that. You can bullshit other people because they don't know any better, but you can't bullshit. You can't bullshit King Geo, and you can't bullshit half of us. But the other half you can, and those are the other halves that follow you. And you got to wake up and say, you know what? This can't be happening. Look at Alabama. Look at Mississippi. Mississippi is a Republican state run by Republicans, and it's the poorest state in the nation. Why do we still have a poor state? Mississippi, Alabama, New Mexico. Those, come on. It's just ridiculous. These Republican states, they think they run by Republicans. They think they're better than them. So when something bad happens, they that only happens in Democratic states. It happens everywhere, but you want to put the blame on Democrats because it looks better for your party instead of saying people under certain circumstances would do stupid shit. That's what it is. That's human beings. But no, they want to blame it on the party. But anyway, with that said, do not forget. I want to say thank you each and every one of you for joining my live. Thank you, Rayush. Thank you, Just 2.0. I appreciate it. Thank you, Gataides. And everybody. Obi, sorry when you go to jail. Hit me up. And don't forget to go to Shiki Boom Art on Instagram and get your personalized items. I'm talking about hats. I'm talking about tumblers. I'm talking about shirts. I'm talking about keychains. I'm talking about Shiki Boom Art right now has a baby clothes that looks beautiful for newborns. Go in there, check her out. Good prices, quality merchandise, and you won't regret it. Once again, thank you for joining the King Geo Show.